Welcome to the Whurthy Services training video series. This is Module 7, Whurthy Marketing. In this video, we're going to walk through the Whurthy Marketing Summary. We'll start by overviewing Whurthy Marketing and what it is. Then we're going to take a look at Whurthy Marketing and see a demonstration of how it can be used to announce promotions and packages with a demonstration on promotions in particular. And then we're going to close the video with a review of the supporting features, audiences, mailing lists, and the bulk email import feature. So before we get to the demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to overview what Whurthy Marketing is. So what is Whurthy Marketing? Well, it's a number of things. First of all, it's an optional feature. This is a feature that you can opt to activate. And when you do, it then operates in combination with Whurthy services. In other words, it's like an upgrade to your Whurthy services subscription. Now, this optional feature makes it easy to get the word out about your services while being compliant with the world's most stringent email marketing regulations, such as the GDPR regulations from Europe. So the basic idea there's two parts to this first bullet. The first idea is that whilst Whurthy Services is designed in particular to allow prospects, to allow your customers to come and see what services you're offering, to look at availability, to take advantage of automated discounts through promotions, to take advantage through package discounts, for example, it does require the customer to visit Whurthy Services, to visit your website. So the idea of Whurthy Marketing is that it's about pushing the word out. So whilst the website invites or pulls customers to come and take advantage of the services you're offering, what Whurthy Marketing does is it announces, it pushes the word out. So we believe it's an excellent transceiving opportunity. In other words, allowing customers to arrive, the receiving and transmitting. So at the same time, though, when you start to engage with the activity of email marketing, then there are some regulations in many of the jurisdictions around the world. And for example, in Europe has laws related to email marketing known as the GDPR that are quite stringent. They require, for example, double opt-in or implied permission because someone signed up to use your service. So we've got all of those regulations taken care of, right the way down to when someone receives an email, there's even an unsubscribe link, so that if they've decided they've changed their mind, Whurthy Services, Whurthy Marketing will take care of all that for you. So at the same time, it's an optional feature that allows you to maintain separate lists to group your customers or prospects. So this can be done either through the loyalty program, which is optional. And we have looked at the automated loyalty program video. So we've looked at that in another video. So you can take a look in the top right-hand corner of the screen for the link, or you can build your own custom mailing lists and audiences. So while we've designed Whurthy Marketing to really pair perfectly with promotions and packages, you may want to just share an announcement about an activity or an update or news relating to what you're doing that has nothing to do with a promotion or a package. So this is always available to you through Whurthy Marketing. Now, the final point on this particular slide, I'm going to read. So this is an optional feature that focuses on sending email effectively without tracking. So this greatly lowers the risk of your emails being blocked. Now, we don't have the time in this video to dive into the technology behind email servers, tracking software. But when we were researching, when we were looking at this particular idea of sending emails out to customers, to prospects related to services, to promotions, to packages, for example, we are aware that the main players in the email marketing space, they advertise or they offer the idea of tracking. Now, what that means is that when an email is sent, there is technology that tracks, did the email get received? If it got received, did it get opened? How long was the person looking at the email for? What links did they click on? What parts of the email did they engage with? And whilst that makes a lot of sense in some context, in our context, what we decided to do was to focus on keeping it simple. Because one of the consequences of all that tracking is that many email servers out there on the internet do actually have what's known as anti-spam technology. In other words, there have over the years, because there's been lots of challenges with spam through email marketing technologies, email servers and developers of email servers have gotten very good at building in checks to see if an email is likely to be spam. And so one of the consequences of that is that if an email server that's sending emails starts to get identified as sending a lot of email marketing emails, then it might get added to a blacklist if there are complaints made against it. But one of the key things that can happen is that when tracking software is included or tracking code is included with an email servers will pick up on this. And so if you've ever had the experience where you've been a part of a mailing list from an email marketing service and you suddenly discovered that you're not getting emails from that mailing list anymore, that could be for a number of reasons, one of which could really have to do with the fact that your email server isn't allowing these marketing emails to come through because they look like spam. And an email that contains tracking code looks a lot like spam. So that's why we made the decision to focus on sending emails effectively without tracking. The other key difference with Whurthy marketing compared to other email marketing type technologies or services out there is that those email marketing services were typically built as email marketing services first. And then there are some of them that try and tack on or add on the idea of letting customers know or receivers know about events, for example. However, with Whurthy services and Whurthy marketing, Whurthy ultimately is a services event type technology first, and then Whurthy marketing was added on as we realized, oh, wouldn't it be great to get the word out there? So that's obviously quite a lot that I've already talked about. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to submit a support request, connect with one of the Whurthy team. We'd be delighted to talk with you about this. But these are just some key points that we wanted you to at least be aware of to give you a bit of peace of mind when you're looking at Whurthy marketing. However, Whurthy marketing is more than that. Whurthy marketing also allows you to save time by importing your existing email marketing list. So there's a bulk email import feature. And what this allows you to do is to bring in lists of emails that you've already got on existing marketing lists and import them in one go. And you can do that audience by audience. And we'll take a look at that in the last part of the video. Now, if you've already watched the Whurthy settings module, and there's a link to it in the top right-hand corner of the screen, if you've already watched the video on the Whurthy settings module, you'll have already seen the idea of workflow approval being active. And so the Whurthy marketing tool also makes use of that. And so basically, if you have workflow approval as set as inactive or you have it turned off, what that means is that then once the test email is accepted, there'll be a task that's assigned for you to accept it or to basically ask for revisions. And then as soon as you're happy and you in effect agree with the email looking right, then it will go ahead and send the email to the mailing list. On the other hand, if you set workflow approval as being active, then there will actually be an additional approval step. So what this allows, and so looking to the third point here, this allows you to make use of the PEEP, the process expertise profile, and the learned experience features. So we looked at that in another video, a link to the top right there, the people and checklist video. This allows you to make use of these AI features to simplify assigning email campaign workflows to team members and external contractors. So for example, if you are perhaps a larger service provider with a number of employees, maybe you've decided to engage an external professional, some contractor, in helping to manage your email marketing campaign. So what you can actually do then is you could assign that person, you could give them an account, you could make them staff in effect, and then they would just be able to go in and create email campaigns for you. They would be able to sort of create promotions or packages even with you, and then build on those email campaign workflows, refine them and test them, get them to the point where they're happy. And then with the approval step, then you could receive the final approval on that email before it goes to all your customers. So because we've already engineered this workflow approval technology within Whurthy Services, we've already got that within the Whurthy Services application, we're now taking advantage of that foundation with the Whurthy marketing product as well. So there may be many of you who are watching this video who really might not make use of this, but if you're a larger organization, this may make a lot of sense. If you're a smaller organization and you are your own boss and it's just you or a few people, then obviously you're going to have workflow approval turned off. You're not going to have it active, and then you don't have to worry. But if you do have that situation, or you expand to maybe deciding, oh, I want to hire like an external marketing professional agency, then you can engage them and have them do that legwork for you, with you having the final say. Really what it comes down to is Whurthy marketing is about supporting Whurthy services and getting the word out there about the wonderful services that you are delivering. So with that in mind, let's dive into the staff experience and take a look at how Whurthy marketing works. So as is the case, we've now jumped into the staff experience. We're on the home page. We get to see my tasks, the useful links. So over on the right-hand side, as is always the case, we're going to take a look at the Whurthy links sidebar. And so if you are following along and you have Whurthy marketing active within your environment, then you are going to see this appointment marketing section. But before I actually take a look at the appointment marketing itself, looking at the Whurthy marketing pieces, I'm going to go down to administration, because the first thing I need to do is I am going to go and create a promotion to show you how the idea of Whurthy services and Whurthy marketing comes together beautifully. So I'm going to click on, in the administration section, I'm going to click on the manage promotions link. And so that's going to take me to the active promotion. So in the top right-hand corner of the screen, there'll be a link to the Whurthy promotions video. So if you want a refresher about how promotions work and how you can set them up, please feel free to watch that video. But as it is, I'm going to quickly walk through creating a promotion so that we can then go into the demo of Whurthy marketing proper, as it were. So I'm going to click on the add promotion button. And so I'm just going to call this the testing Whurthy marketing promotion. And then I'm going to set a start time. So let's just say we're going to go from 1 p.m. through to 3 p.m. 3:30, for example. Again, this can be whatever time, days that you want it to be. I'm going to do an expiry date just at the end of the month. So in the Whurthy promotions video, when we got to this market promotion field, we had no yes. We left it as no when we saved. However, now we're going to select yes. And now we get this drop-down email campaign template choice. Now, at this point, we've got a couple of templates in here, default and plain. Default is the main one, and it will have your, you will be able to have your header and banner from a graphical point of view, or you can have no header and banner. That's fine. That's totally up to you. Or you can have a plain one just with text, no fancy trimmings. We're going to stay with the default email campaign template. And then we get the promotion type. I'm going to leave that as promotion, but just to make a note here, when we look at the audiences out of the box, you will see when we get to the audiences list, there are actually 3 different audiences. There's an audience for all accounts, there's an audience for members, and there's an audience for VIPs. So depending on the promotion type that you select, that will automatically select the audience related to the loyalty tier. So in this way, this pairs very nicely with the automated loyalty program. So there's going to be a link to that in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So if you want a refresher on how the automated loyalty program works. But just to summarize as a quick reminder, when your customers make bookings, it tracks, and when they get over that threshold to become a member, their account is then elevated to be a member, but they're also added to the member audience. And then the same thing with the VIP threshold, they'll be added to the VIP audience. So in this way, when you start designing or creating promotions that you want to target at specific loyalty tiers, that's where those built-in 3 audiences will work with this feature. So I'm just going to leave this as promotion, because this is going to go to the all accounts audience. And that's going to make more sense when we look at the email campaign in particular in the next step, and when we look at audiences towards the end of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the create promotion button. And so now the success flash message is a little different. Because we selected yes to having the email campaign created, it reads, the promotion testing worthy marketing has been added and an email campaign has been drafted. Check your inbox for a confirmation email with a link to the campaign. So this leads us straight away to the second step. I'm going to jump over to my email client. I'm just going to refresh it. And so now that email that was promised has come in. So I'm going to just zoom in here. So we can see now that this message is coming in and it's saying a new email campaign has been created for you because you selected yes to market the testing worthy marketing promotion. You can refine this draft email campaign or delete and start over. When you are ready to see how the email looks, you can select yes for ready to send a test email. So that's going to make much more sense. In effect, those are just the written instructions for what we're about to see when I click on this email campaign link. So this takes me right into the email campaign. Now, I could have clicked on email campaigns and then clicked on the link to this, but that link right inside the email allowed me to get straight to this. So when we look at the email campaign, this is the similar design language that we see to most of these aspects of Whurthy services. We can see at the top here, we've got subject. And in the context of the specific email that's sent, this subject is one of the two key pieces that are a part of an email. The other part of an email is the message. So, every email has a subject and a message. So that's been built. Now notice that this subject has been drafted for you. Now, when we edit the email campaign, we're going to be able to change that. But just wanted to highlight that what it's done, it's just got this default text of announcing thee, and then it inserts whatever text that you entered for the name of the promotion. And then it throws promotion on the end. It notes the sender. The send status is currently 1 created. That's going to change. So as it works through the process of being tested and then ultimately sent or even perhaps declined if the workflow approval is active, it will track that send status as well. It's also noting the audience. Now, the audience is all accounts. It's going to make more sense when we look at the audiences a little later because we selected promotion as the type of promotion. What audience size will typically do, it will tell you the number of emails that are in effect subscribed to that audience. And so that will tell you how many people in effect are going to get this email. So if you've got hundreds or thousands of emails, addresses in your marketing list or customers with accounts, then it's going to show you the exact number of people that you would expect to receive that email. So it's immediately giving you a sense of how big is the broadcast going to be. This is just a testing server, not very big. Then the next field, now this was touched upon in that email, this ready to send field, its background color for this row is red. That, as you'll be familiar, when there's red, that's telling you, there's some sort of warning, something hasn't happened. So this is just letting us know that it's not ready to send. That's going to change to green in the next step. And now this is probably one of the key differentiators from if you've experienced working with an email marketing technology. What's happened is it's built a draft message. It's drafted a message for us, and it's drafted it from the actual details that we selected for the promotion. And not only that, when we look at the email campaign templates, you are going to be able to change the draft text for yourself to match your particular voice, your writing voice, maybe change some of the terminology, maybe add more bells and whistles on there. That's totally up to you. But what we've done is we've just given you a simple starting point that really is capturing the information. So we can see here the message reads, greetings. We're excited to let you know about the testing worthy marketing promotion. So that's the name of the promotion. All event bookings between 1 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. So that was the start and end time we selected, right? And then we selected Wednesdays and Thursdays will be automatically discounted by 10%. So we didn't change that 10%. That was the default number. If we'd have changed it, obviously that will be different. And it says until Saturday, 31st December, 2022. So that has grabbed all that information, and then it's got this sort of close off line, learn more about what we do by visiting us at whatever the web address you have for your setup. That will actually be entered by behind the scenes. So it'll actually inject that for you right into the email. And then it says best regards, and we've got in the company name as being dropped in there. So again, these sort of details you'll be able to finesse. It also notes underneath the message here, has a test email been sent? Currently, no. So that really is going to be, it's going to allow you to track when you're ready to send, get a test email, and it's going to let you know, oh, I've already sent a test email. But then you're going to get the opportunity to, in effect, make a decision. Do you want to proceed? Do you want to stop? Or do you want to make changes and send another test email out? So at the bottom here, we've got an email send log. In a number of other videos, we've seen this idea of a log. We can see here when it was created, and now it's telling us automatically created with the promotion testing worthy marketing by me. And so this log is going to grow. So towards the end of the video, we're going to see when we've completed this process, that log will actually have a number of entries in it, and it will allow us to track what happened through the process. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the Edit Email Campaign button. And so now this brings us into the email campaign record, as it were. So what we've got now is the opportunity to make some changes. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to yes, because for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to be ready to go. But you could leave this as no, make changes, and then click on Update Email Campaign. So that would treat it, when you say ready to send no, that will treat it like a draft. And it will allow you to do some changes. And then maybe you've got an appointment. So you go and service the customer. You just leave it as no, you update the email campaign, and then you can come back to it later on. You can work on that email over time, just as if you had an external marketing agency working with you. They could come and do the same thing, just work on this until they're ready. And then when you're ready to send it, or when the person who's responsible for this is ready to send it, I could go ahead and make changes. I could throw just a few more exclamation marks just to show you the difference. I could go ahead and bold this, for example. As you explore this, what you see is what you get text editor. You'll be able to see there's a lot of things you can do. You can even do things like insert tables, so that you can start to have, organize images. You can insert images and whatnot. So you can make them very fancy, but, we wanted to start you off just with something simple and straightforward. But if I just sort of expand that's looking good. That's good enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and update the email campaign. So that's going to do a couple of things now. When I click this button, it's going to send me a test email, and it's going to assign me a task. However, the good news is, as you're going to see in the next part of the video, you're not going to have to remember that, because it's going to tell you. So I've gone ahead, I've clicked the update email campaign button. And so now we can see the email campaign workflow for, and then we've got that particular promotion has been updated. Check your inbox for a test email. And so now I can see the email campaign is in here. I can go ahead and click on it, and I can actually see ready to send is yes, and a test email has been sent. And then I can actually see that I updated this here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my email client, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And sure enough, so now this is the test email. So when you look at this email, I just want to draw your attention to this first section. This text is showing because it is just a test email, okay? When you send the final email, as we're going to see at the end, that's going to disappear. But what's important about that is that not only is this telling this is the test email, we can see that there's a link to the email campaign. And once you are satisfied, please update this task as revised to send another test email, or agree to continue the workflow. And then it's got the email. It's got the content where I bolded it. If we even look at the subject there, it's now got the 3 exclamation marks in the subject. So it's really taken all of that detail and it's just brought it through. And if you'll notice, even though this has taken longer because I've been talking through from the point of creating a promotion, right, to then going, oh, that text was good enough, that message was good enough. It's literally just a couple of clicks to really get to that, sending a basic, straightforward email. And then the time to refine the messaging, that's down to me. That's how long I want to take. But Whurthy Services and Whurthy Marketing will allow you to go through this pretty quickly. But the most important thing here is all the details from the promotion, they're all brought through accurately. There are going to be no errors in that part of the message, because it's captured all of the details that you selected and that you entered with respect to the program. So you don't have to worry about putting in the wrong discount or the wrong expiry date, because that's taking care of all that for you, and it's done it almost effortlessly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this link to go to the task, because what that's going to do is that's going to send me straight into the task that's going to allow me in effect to finalize and to complete this, right? So I can see there's a link in the top right-hand corner of the page to the Whurthy Taskmaster video. If you want a refresher on how tasks work in Whurthy, you can take a look at that. But basically, we've got the usual trimmings or the usual information around a task. We've got the task itself. This obviously was created. We've got here that it's an accept test email. We can see when it was created. We can see the priority, its status. You're not going to have to worry about this and really much of this information when it comes to an email task, because really what Whurthy Marketing is doing is it's looking to whether or not you agree with the email, the test email as being good to proceed, right? So underneath, we've got the instructions. So this comes from the Learned Experience Engine. Again, this was covered in the Whurthy Checklists and People video. You should have received a test email. Please review this email. Now, we looked at it. It looked good. When you've reviewed the email, you make your decision below. And so we've got 3 different options we're going to have when we edit the task. We're going to have agreed, revise, decline, as they sound, nothing really complicated. And then inside the description, there's just a convenient link to the email campaign itself. So I'm just going to go ahead. I can see here that I've got the task history log is telling me that it was created, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to click on edit task. And so now we're in the task, and as you may recall from other videos, assuming you've been working through them, there's going to be some similarities here. First of all, whilst we've got this title, we've got a task priority, the assigned team, and who it's assigned to. You could assign this to someone else and ask them to take a look at their tasks and, you know, take over this for you. But really, it's going to assume that the person who initiated that promotion is the person who wants to review the test email. But this would be an opportunity for you if you wanted to delegate it to someone else. We've got the same instructions, but here, this is where we really get to see what's happening. So whilst there's an actions taken field, this is an optional field, but you could use it to keep a note of the details that you're working on or whatever thoughts. So consider that being like a little notepad, as it were. But what really matters is the decision, okay? So at this point, in this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and click on agreed. But if you were to click decline, that's going to go ahead and end the task. It's going to mark the email campaign as kind of done and it being declined in effect. And that it sort of stops the workflow. So you, in effect, could either build your own email campaign or you could create a new promotion, you know, to sort of do it again, as it were. But if you want to make some changes to the email campaign, then you can go into the email campaign because there's the convenient link to it here, right? You know, just in this task description field, and you can make some changes. And then when you've made some changes, you can select revise and update the task, and it will just send you another test email again. Okay. So the email campaign task or the accept email test email task is really what you're going to use to sort of go through that process of telling Whurthy, yeah, I want to receive another test email. Because remember, Whurthy Services, Whurthy Marketing is a task-centric workflow system, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and agree. Now, don't have to put any decision comments here because this is just for me as the sender and I'm marking it as agreed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the update task button. And so now we can see the task, accept test email, has been updated. And as I scroll down here, the important thing that we're going to take a look at is the task history log, because behind the scenes, this actually has sent out that email, okay? But in the task itself, it's telling us, yep, you know, we had it accepted, then it was, the email campaign was sent. I can see in the bottom right-hand corner here, I've got a little pop-up message from one of my email clients, because they're actually going to get to see 2 email clients, because I've got 2 email addresses, as it were. One of my email clients already telling me that marketing email has already been sent out. I've already received it. And then at the end, it's telling me that the email campaign workflow is complete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and just do one more thing on this part of the demo. I'm going to click on the link to the email campaign. It's going to open it up. So now we get to see, we've seen all this before, but if I scroll down, now we get to see the email send log. And this is the important part. So we can see here, we saw that it was automatically created. We saw that at the beginning of the video. Then when we updated the email campaign as ready to send, at that point, it created a task, right? But when I went and then updated the task, then Whurthy Marketing added these lines. First of all, it basically marked that the sender, me, I had marked it as agreed. So that's the first task being marked as agreed, and you saw that. Now, what it went and did was it went and checked, was the approval workflow set to active or inactive? Because it was set to inactive, it just went ahead. Had it been set to active, it would have signed another task, sending out a test email to whoever the approver or the email campaign approvers were. Now, this is a little important point that I haven't mentioned to this point, but when it comes to email campaign reviewers, in the process expertise profile list, you can have one or many approvers. And when you've got one, it's simple, just that one person has to agree. When you've got many approvers, they all have to agree. So that actually allows you to have an approval workflow opportunity when it comes to emails, where it's not just one person has to be the approving authority, but say a committee could be an approving authority, or a team or a partnership could be an approving authority. Now, in the Whurthy People and Checklist video, we talk about the process expertise profile list, but in effect, all you have to do to make it active when it comes to multiple approvers is just to enter multiple email campaign approvers. And then Whurthy will involve all of them in the decision-making process. We expect, though, that whilst there may be some organizations and teams that would make use of that, many of them, smaller organizations, you may have approval workflow turned off. Larger organizations, you'll probably have it turned on. And some organizations may want to take advantage of multiple approving authorities or multiple approvers. And then finally, it's letting us know that the email campaign was sent to 3 emails. So now what I'm going to do, before I close out this video with just looking at the underlying features, I'm going to take a look at how did that email look. So I'm going to go over to the email client that, sure enough, had that notification. And just to show you, we can see here, now we don't have that test message at the top. We've just got the pure text that we entered in here. We've got the banner. This bottom banner, in this case, it will actually be a clickable hyperlink to whatever the address is for your Whurthy services environment. And then at the bottom, we got an unsubscribe link. So when they click on that, it's going to unsubscribe them. It's a no nonsense. They click, they're unsubscribed. And so that is a big part of how we make sure that there is compliance here. Now, at the same time, when you look into the regulation, what you'll also discover is that when you have customers who sign up to be a part of your service, there's actually lower standards that you need to meet, because there's something known as implied permission. And so because someone signed up to, buy or purchase your services, for example, they're considered to be a part of your customer base. And so forth. There is therefore implied permission. But also when customers register, when they come and create an account on your Whurthy services installation, there'll actually be a message when Whurthy marketing is set up, and it says, by confirming your registration, you're agreeing to be put on our mailing list. So they've given you permission. However, even though they've given you permission and from a regulatory point of view, you're all good, we still wanted to ensure that if they decide, I don't want to get any more emails, they can unsubscribe. It will track that. But that just allows peace of mind for you and for the clients. And many clients that see that, there will be some clients that will actually be like, oh, good, they've given me the choice. Okay, so that really covers the actual demonstration in terms of the email itself. I'm just going to go ahead. Sure enough, and here's the email. This is the exact same email to a completely different email address. It went ahead and, sent out those 3 emails almost instantly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just complete this demonstration just by showing you the other elements, just the final part of this video. We're going to take a look, first of all. I'm sort of going to work my way up I'm going to work my way up from the bottom. So I'm going to start with the bulk email import. So this really is quite simple. Now, by default, when you have Whurthy marketing installed, you start off with a mailing list limit of 2,500 email addresses or user accounts. So if someone has a user account, that counts as an entry on your mailing list, okay? So it's letting us know we've got 0.3% because we've got 7 confirmed subscriptions across all audiences, okay? And it's letting us know out of the 2,500, we're only using 0.3%. So when you're looking at bulk email import, this will be helpful, because if you're bringing in, say, 1,000 emails for some mailing list that you had, it will actually it will keep account. It will track, what does that mean to your mailing list? It says here, through bulk email import, Whurthy will accept any number of emails up to the mailing list limit listed above. Only emails currently unassociated with a user account or a subscribed email will be added to the selected audience mailing list. So what that's going to do is if you've already got people with or if you've already got email addresses or people with email addresses that have already subscribed, and then you come and try and add them, Whurthy will know and it won't add them. Also, this first part, if you've got email addresses, but they've already created user accounts, it will also know. So it won't create a second entry. So the mailing list, our design intention is that the mailing list is in integrity with the idea of if you've got an email where someone already created an account, it's not going to go and add that email as well because that email is already associated with an account. And it's the same thing as someone already subscribed or you added the same list twice. It's not going to create duplicate entries for you. And so the bulk email import report. So once you complete this, I'm not going to do this on the demo, but I wanted just to let you know, it will notify you of the number of emails already associated with an existing subscribed user account or email. So it's going to tell you, like if you had a bunch of duplicates, it's going to let you know, like, yeah, 15 of these emails were already associated with an account and 27 of them, they were already subscribed with this email. Once the mailing list limit of 2,500 is reached, any additional emails in the import will not be added. The bulk email import report will notify you of the number of emails that were not added to the mailing list due to the limit. As Whurthy will not verify email addresses imported, please be sure to only enter correctly formatted email addresses, including an @ a period, and a top-level domain such as .com. It is strongly recommended that you verify the import by checking the mailing list. So we're going to take a look at that. And then, so what we do, we can select now, there are 3 audiences by default, right? All accounts, members, VIPs. So you could add one set of one email list to the all accounts list, and then you could have a separate friends and family email list and you could add them to VIPs, or you could create your own 4th or beyond audience and add email addresses to that. And so basically what you're asked to do is, as you enter in emails, that they're separated with a comma. Now there is a format of saving lots of emails known as comma separated values. You may see that as a CSV file. And if you have that, will actually allow you to paste those emails, because what Whurthy is looking for is an email separated by a comma, and it goes, oh, that's an email. And then it goes and imports that. And then it goes and looks for the next one, up until the next comma. So as long as you're following that format, you can type them in manually. I could go, Kevin@Whurthy.com, and then I could go Lyle@Whurthy.com, just like that. And I could add them manually, but typically you'd paste them in. And then when you're done, you're going to go ahead and click on import emails. Okay, so I'm now going to take a look at the email campaign templates. So we've got 2 in here right now. We've got one, which is the default, which has the text that we've already seen. We've got this plain one. As I mentioned towards the beginning of the video, we are going to be adding more email campaign templates that are going to have different graphical flavors, but for the most part, default should be a solid starting point. You could go and add your own email campaign templates, by the way, but I'm just going to go and show you here. There's a few things here. This pixel width and then should be matching the actual banners, as it were. If I go ahead and click on the default, click on the title, what this 600 pixel means is that really means when we looked at the email, I'm going to go back into the email client, this literally is 600 pixels wide. And so that's deliberately chosen as a width, as a default width, because that will work well on smartphones. That will work well on small form factor devices. If you start having larger, sort of width of emails, like 1,000 pixels or 1,200 pixels, there's a chance that when it arrives on a smaller device, it may look a little unexpected. It may not look the way that you want it to. So we've started with 600. You can set that to whatever number that you want, because Whurthy is going to check that. What we do advise is that that width matches the width in pixels of the header banner and the footer banner. So you want the banners to be 600 pixels wide if you've selected this pixel width. So if you're listening to this and this is really not clear to you, then by all means, you can go ahead and speak with a marketing professional. They'll help you understand, do a bit of research. But then we can see that we've actually got this HTML template. So this is what Whurthy is going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit template. And so this would allow you to do languaging around that. So if you wanted to add additional information, you could. But at this point, We can see here, you know, we've just got details as to where the image is stored for the banner, because you want that to be online. You don't want to actually include that as an attachment. It should be an image that's stored on what's known as a content delivery network server, like a CDN server, and then you have the opportunity to change the languaging. Now, we've done it this way because remember that these Whurthy emails or Whurthy marketing allows you to promote both packages and promotions. So the languaging, when you create and market a package, the languaging will be a little bit different, which is why we've done it this way. So you can go ahead and update the template, or you could go ahead and make changes, but we'd kind of caution against making changes to the template whilst we've allowed it, just because it might lead to unexpected results. Now, that being said, if you wanted to add a line outside of these lines here, you could change how, you could say, dear friend, instead of greetings. You could change yours, best regards to yours sincerely, right? And then we're bringing in whatever your company name is. So I'm going to go back to the template. So that gives you a sense that you can play a little bit around with the email campaign templates if you want. Let's have a look at the audiences. So I'm clicking on the audiences link. So we've got 3 audiences by default that come with your Whurthy marketing solution: all accounts, members, and VIPs. So now we can take a look at each of these audiences, as it were. So we can click on the link, which takes us to the actual detail record for this. We can see scope external versus scope internal. That's actually explained here. This external audience can be directly subscribed to through the subscribe link or updated by staff through the mailing list. Every account that is registered is automatically added to the mailing list for this audience. All accounts, regardless of their loyalty tier, guest member, VIP, will by default be added to the mailing list for this audience. This particular audience is designed to be the primary mailing list for email campaigns. This audience cannot or should not be edited or deleted. So their members, we can see that's internal. It's not going because the scope is internal, it's not going to be displayed on the subscribe link. So just so you know, if I go ahead and I just up here, I'm going to just type in the word subscribe there on the end, and it's actually it knows, because I'm logged in, it's actually identifying that I'm already subscribed. But you could send whatever the URL is with subscribe on the end. You could send that to anyone and have them subscribe themselves. And when they do that, that's actually that's more impactful, because when this subscription is tracked, it actually notes that the person who subscribed of their own accord. They weren't added, they weren't imported. So in terms of tracking from a regulatory point of view, that's seen as preferred from a regulatory body's point of view. But that being said, so when you market audiences internal, that just means it won't be available to be subscribed. So just to take a look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a private session. So whurthyservices.com, subscribe. So what I've done here now is I've just gone into a private browser tab and I've just added subscribe to the end of the URL. And so by going to a private tab, that means the browser's not stored the cookie of me logged in. And so we get to see what it looks like for someone who goes to that subscribe link. So as well as you adding people, the subscribe page allows then anyone to come in and to, in effect, in this case, to subscribe to the all accounts audience and put their email in. Now, when they do that, it's going to confirm, it's going to let them know, yep, thank you, and check your email. And then they're going to get an email asking them to verify their email. And in fact, they'll click on the link and it will thank them. And then what Whurthy marketing will do is it will track the fact that they did their own subscription. They did the double opt-in. In other words, they validated, verified their email. And then that's what we mean by meeting those stringent regulatory requirements. This subscription feature allows for that to be done. So you could, for example, probably the most ideal way, if you wanted to let everyone on your existing marketing list know about your new Whurthy services solution that you brought in, you could then get your marketing list. You could, in effect, email them a link to whatever the URL is, the address is for your Whurthy services installation, add the subscribe link to the end of it, and it would send them here. So that would be, from a regulatory point of view, the most ideal way. invite all of your customers to opt in. And so what this does is this will give them an opportunity then to subscribe and you meet all those requirements. Now, so with that being said, that really covers audiences. So with that said, we're going to take a look at the final element, which is mailing lists themselves. This is pretty straightforward. We get to see here, first of all, we've got this add to mailing list button. So this is where you can add an email manually. So you could have added emails through the bulk email import. You could have sent your customers, your market, those on your marketing email list, you could send them a link to the subscribe page so they could add themselves, or you can add people here yourself manually one by one. So there's a number of different ways to do it, but what it's going to do is going to track the number of confirmed subscriptions across all audiences, and it's obviously going to let you know about the mailing list limit here. When we scroll down, we've got this ability to filter by mailing list. And so if I click on all accounts, filter mailing list, it's now only going to show me I've got 6 emails in the all accounts audience. And so with that all reviewed, that really concludes our review of the Whurthy marketing solution. Whurthy, value made easy.